You guys are watching NFL Daily. I am your host, Tom Downey, and I'm answering all your questions on the NFL with the official franchise tag deadline on Tuesday, and then free agency begins on Monday. Things are about to get fun here for the NFL. All right, Lil Eden, first up. Would Jordan Davis be deadly on the Browns? I don't know if they would spend a first-round pick on him. It's not how they invest along the defensive line. I think it's like your Malik Jackson replacement. You're really intrigued there. I think DT is a need. I'll say this. As freaky of an athlete Jordan Davis is, you guys are going to get mad at me for saying this, but I'm right. Teams will wonder why he was a under 50% player at Georgia this past year and why he didn't have great pass rush production. That said, he should go top 15 kind of easily. Cash Black, I don't believe he should be suspended. It was because this is about Calvin Ridley, of course. He was away from the game, and I see that coming as a Saints fan. I understand where you're coming from. The NFL will never stand for this, though, because of what Goodell said in his statement, right? It opens up questions about the integrity, and you cannot have even the appearance of impropriety when it comes to betting on games. From my burner account, Tom Downey, I'm curious what producer Brett, if he's paying attention, has to say about this one. So are the Cowboys stupid or too prideful? He's not paying attention. My answer is yes. They think their way is right, and their way is also wrong. So the answer is yes to both there. Couple quick shout-outs here. Joe Fortunato says $2 Super Chat, MVP. Thank you. And Latuya67 coming in with $1 Super Chat as well. Thank you guys so much. I greatly appreciate that. From Cap That, after his combine effort, how early will Jordan Davis go? I thought he was probably going to be a round one pick. The knocks on Jordan Davis are as follows. Did not play 50% of the snaps at Georgia. Was that because he got tired as games went on? They didn't trust him as a pass rusher because they had so much talent on that defensive line? And why was the pass rush production so poor? Only 2 sacks and not great pressure numbers either. With that said, you always bet on this level of freak athlete. Vita Vea, Daron Payne should be his general range. So maybe the Texans get crazy. I never trust them. The Falcons could make sense at number 8. The range I'm intrigued by the most is right here, 12 to 17. Minnesota, as they move to a 3-4 scheme. That makes sense. The Ravens at number 14. That's a logical fit for me. And the dream fit is the LA Chargers. They like to run too high safety. Jordan Davis has more value for you in that type of scheme because you can keep the safeties back deep and he can clog the running lanes for you almost by himself. I love the fit at 17. That's as far as you should dip. If he falls further, the Raiders at 22 also make a ton of sense. So who do you think will draft Jordan Davis, the Georgia defense tackle? By the way, some favorites there. He's not 28. That is Google is wrong. He is still quite young. Who will draft him? I'll make this the pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad break comes, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. From Hi, who do you think will go in the first who will be a bust? Ooh, good question. I think that this year's class, it's going to get a little bit weird. The guys that I'm not as high on as other people, and I'm going to not include the quarterbacks. That's too easy of a conversation. I get a little bit worried with those offensive tackles, Trevor Penning and Charles Cross. They're great athletes. They've got some pretty sizable concerns, though. I think Bernard Raymond fits that mold for me as well. And not all those receivers are going to hit, by the way. And I like him. This is me having high grades on first-round picks, of course. I worry about Treylon Burks' separation ability. Awesome after the catch. Great as a big slot. If you don't use him right, he's not going to live up to expectations. So, in the end, this is a cop-out answer. Where do they go? Who drafts them? Because bad organizations stay bad for a reason. Grant Thornton, who will the Chargers sign in free agency? Some buzz out there that they are going to be interested in one of the big-time corners, Stephon Gilmore, J.C. Jackson. They got money to spend with Justin Herbert being very cheap right now. I would love an offensive tackle. Go fix that right tackle spot or just offensive line help in general. I would throw money at a receiver, whether it's Mike Williams or somebody else in the end. Super chat from Ozzy Osman. Great profile picture, too, by the way. Adam Thielen to the Jags for a second-round pick. I don't think the Vikings should do that. I think Thielen's a fantastic football player. He's just as good as Stephon Diggs. Don't you want the same offer you got for Thielen? So if Minnesota wants to rebuild, okay, the Jags should do it. I don't think Minnesota should, though. Ecuadorman, back again. Thank you. Super chat. Tom, tag Schultz or sign a different tight end. Or sign Tampa's tight end. I assume you mean O.J. Howard here. I like O.J. Howard. I would go that route. I think that the Cowboys, if for Schultz under contract, $11 million or more, it's a lot of money for a good, not great player. I would rather put that money towards, like, keeping Amari Cooper. They don't seem all that inclined to do so, though, in the end. St. Patrick's Day is just around the corner. And if you want some gear for your favorite NFL teams, oh, we got you guys covered. Chatsports.com/NFL Green. Be festive and rock and support your favorite team. Whatever team you're a fan of, they got gear for you guys available. Even, I put the Patriots on there just for you, Jack. Patriots gear as well. You can get the numbers on the back of your T-shirts there. It's all very affordable. On sale, by the way. Chatsports.com/NFL Green. That link will be in the comment section and in the description. Latulia67, rumors of Davante Adams buying a house in Vegas. He did. It's true. And Mitchell Renz broke that down in depth on our Raiders channel. It doesn't mean that much, but it's interesting. All right, Brian Dean. Isn't Mason Rudolph just as good as a Trubisky or a Mariota? I mean, I think if you're ranking the QBs, maybe you'd put Trubisky over Rudolph, maybe Mariota pretty similar. I'll say this, though. I think they take you somewhat as far. I'm not a big Mason Rudolph guy myself. Sorry to the Mason truthers out there. But I'm not a big Trubisky guy or Mariota either. I don't think those QBs answer your question if you're Pittsburgh. So I wouldn't have interest in those two guys because they're not my answer at QB. Joe Cool 2.0. Does Malik Willis make sense for the Falcons? I don't think so. Here's why. They weren't taking a QB last year. So why would they take a lesser price? And that's what Malik Willis is, guys. He is not on the same level as Justin Fields, as Trey Lance. All those things that Malik Willis does really well, those two guys do those too. And they were a lot better at the collegiate level. And by the way, Trey Lance is still younger than Malik Willis, like a full year or two. So, look, could they go QB? Sure. If they do go QB, I will have no faith in that organization. Your plan is to win with Matt Ryan. So go do that. Don't draft a QB who's not going to help you at all in year one. For all of the latest going on around NFL free agency, draft, trades, and everything else in between, hit that big red button and subscribe. We got you guys covered right here at Chat Sports. Isaiah Garcia says Amari Cooper to the Kansas City Chiefs. I doubt they trade for him. If he gets cut, maybe they have some interest. I would think that they will be a little bit more inclined to look elsewhere at a position. But, man, Cooper and Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, that's fun if you're KC. John Holtz, who is the first team to make a questionable pick, and why is it the Jets? Are we sure it's not going to be Houston? Like, if Houston keeps Laramie Tunsil, I have no idea what route they're going. One of those teams in the top 6, there's going to be something weird. There's going to be, I would bet, a Cleveland Ferrell type of pick this year. It's a weird draft class. There aren't as many top-end first-round picks. The QBs aren't really there either. I think you will see some shockers throughout round one of guys that, wow, we thought this guy was going to go like in the 30s, like Tyson Alualu did a bunch of years ago for the Jags. Maybe it's the Jets. Maybe it's the Panthers or Giants, since they got a bunch of picks early. At least Carolina has one. The New York teams have two. Be some weird stuff this year. Truth 75. Could Derek Stingley fall? Yeah, he could fall. Did not work out at the combine due to a foot injury. Cleared to return, but I'll make note that even though he said he was ahead of schedule, the timeline is now at the back end of that, so I don't know if he's actually ahead of schedule or not. He also came, by the way, at sub 31-inch arms. Not ideal, but between the injury and the just mentality questions that exist for NFL teams, don't shoot the messenger, it's what's going on here, he could fall, especially with Sauce Gardner being potentially corner one. I'd still take Stingley first. He's so good when he's out there. Teams that make sense if he falls, i.e. the Jets or Giants, don't take him in the top 7. The Falcons at 8. Receiver edge also needs. The Jets at 10. The Vikings at 12. The Ravens at 14. And how about back-to-back first-round picks for Philly? I know there's some buzz about Stingley falling to the 20s. I don't get it, man. I know he's missed the past 2 years, more or less. His 2019 film is the best corner film of any freshman ever. It's ridiculous. So I'm still in on Derek Stingley. Who do you think will draft him, though? Shoot your shot for me in the comments section. Make your predictions. What team drafts Derek Stingley in round 1? Lil Eden, should the Browns trade for Bradley Chubb or Bobby Wagener? Wagener is way more expensive than what the Browns would ever want to pay a linebacker. That's not something they value heavily. So they're not going to trade for Wagener, plus Seahawks should just extend him. Denver's not going to trade away Bradley Chubb. If the Browns can get him, sure, go do it. Give up your first or second round pick. I'm all for it. Denver's trying to win games right now. They don't have enough at edge beyond Chubb to trade him right now. Juan Hernandez. Could the Raiders get Kyle Van Noy since he has a connection with Josh McDaniels? Could make some sense. I would require some linebacker roster moves to fit Van Noy, which I could see happening, by the way. But as long as you use Van Noy like you should as a pass rusher fairly heavily, I think that's a good fit in Las Vegas. From Oceana, however you pronounce it correctly. Should the Seahawks trade for James Bradberry? Maybe. The Giants are open for business. They are ready and willing to trade anyone you could ask to trade for as they try to clear cap and move on. Seattle, I think, wants to pay DJ Reed. So if they can't get a DJ Reed contract, they could revisit Bradberry. I think it'd be a good scheme fit for them in terms of what they want to do to an extent. I think they're going to try and play more man, which might be the Giants do with Bradberry. I would call. If I'm Seattle, a lot of teams should call about James Bradberry, or maybe you wait and see if he gets cut. It's a possibility in New York. Now, when it comes to trades, name a player who you think ends up getting dealt this offseason. Let me know in the comments right now.